what if the biggest secret in Heartland history was never a secret at all? Just a waiting game. For years, fans mourned the loss of Ty Borden, believing his chapter had ended. But what if that chapter wasn't the last? What if it was just the calm before a storm no one saw coming? Season 19 is not just another season. It's the season where whispers become reality. The season where Wardle returns, and the Borden family reunites in a way no one expected. For a long time, fans believed the story of Ty Borden had reached its tragic end. Season 14 delivered a heartbreaking twist that no one saw coming. Ty's sudden death left Amy shattered and the audience stunned. It wasn't just a character leaving, it felt like losing a piece of the show's soul. But as time passed, something began to change. Behind the scenes, little hints started surfacing. Cryptic interviews, subtle social media activity, and whispers from insiders close to the Heartland set. People started asking, could Wardle really be coming back? At first, it sounded impossible. After all, Wardle had made it clear that he stepped away to grow beyond the role of Ty, to pursue spiritual and creative ventures, including his podcast and book. He seemed content, even peaceful, but actors are human too, and sometimes walking away doesn't mean closing the door forever. The buzz grew louder when a trusted source hinted that discussions had taken place between Wardle and the Heartland production team. These weren't just rumors anymore, they were signs. Season 19 is being described by insiders as the most ambitious chapter in Heartland's history. And now, for the first time since that emotional goodbye, fans are hearing confirmation. Wardle is officially returning. But here's the twist. How he returns is still a closely guarded secret. Will it be through a flashback, a dream, or has the show pulled off one of television's greatest twists by keeping Ty alive all along? The idea of Ty being in witness protection or having faked his death has caught fire among fans. And it's not just wishful thinking. Writers have been dropping clues for seasons. Moments that didn't quite add up. Reactions that hinted at unresolved tension. Letters that were never fully explained. What if those were breadcrumbs leading us back to Ty? His return opens the door to endless possibilities. Amy has grown in his absence. Lindy is older now and has only known her father through stories and photos. What happens when the man who left everything behind suddenly stands at the edge of the ranch again? The Borden family's reunion could be raw, painful, and breathtaking. Imagine the emotion, the confrontation, the healing. For Amy, seeing Ty again would bring back all the feelings she fought so hard to bury. For Lindy, it's the moment she meets her father. Not in memory, but in real life. And for Jack, Lou, and the rest of the Heartland family, it's about facing what was lost and asking if it can ever truly be found again. But is everyone ready for Ty's return? Has the world moved on too far? Or will this reunion prove that some bonds never break, no matter how much time has passed? Ty Borden's return doesn't just bring back a beloved character. It shakes the very foundation of everything Heartland has become. Amy has spent years learning to live without him. Her journey was full of pain, growth, and healing. She rebuilt her life for Lindy, kept the ranch alive, and slowly opened her heart to new people. But the past doesn't stay buried forever. Now, Ty's presence threatens to unravel the fragile peace Amy worked so hard to create. Imagine the emotional chaos that erupts when someone you've grieved, someone you've loved more deeply than words can express, suddenly walks back into your life. Ty's reappearance is not a fairy tale reunion. It's complicated, messy, and deeply human. There are questions that need answers. Real answers. Why did he leave? Why didn't he come back sooner? What made him stay away from Amy and Lindy for all these years? And perhaps the hardest question of all, can they ever be a family again? Amy isn't the only one affected. Lindy has grown up without her father. All she knows of him are bedtime stories and old photographs. To her, Ty is a legend, not a man. His return means meeting the father she never got to know. But it also brings confusion, uncertainty, and fear. How do you connect with someone who feels like both a stranger and a dream come true? For Ty, the guilt is overwhelming. He missed her first steps, her first words, every moment that mattered. And now, he has to prove he deserves a place in her life. Meanwhile, Jack is caught between hope and heartbreak. Ty was like a son to him. Losing Ty left a hole that nothing could fill. His return is a miracle, but also a challenge. Jack has always been the protector, the fixer. Now, he must guide Amy and Lindy through one of the most emotional moments of their lives, all while facing his own doubts. Can he trust that Ty is here to stay? Can he forgive the years of silence? Lou, too, has questions. As Amy's sister and the ranch's co-leader, she's worked hard to help hold the family together. She supported Amy through every storm. Now, with Ty back, she fears Amy will lose herself in the past again. And then there's Nathan, the new man quietly entering Amy's life just when her heart started to heal. Nathan isn't just a side character anymore. He's a real possibility for Amy's future. But what happens to that future when the love of her life returns from the dead? This emotional triangle is unlike anything Heartland has explored before. Ty's return creates a storm of emotions: love, betrayal, hope, anger. Amy must make a choice, not between two men, but between two lives, the one she's rebuilt and the one she once dreamed of. And Ty must prove that he's not the same man who left. He must fight for his place, not just at the ranch, but in the hearts of the people he left behind. Season 19 becomes more than just a continuation. It becomes a reckoning. Every character must face their truths. Every relationship is tested, and the audience is taken on a journey where every episode peels back another layer of emotional depth. Heartland isn't just about horses and healing anymore. It's about forgiveness, second chances, and the courage to face the past head-on. And still, the biggest question remains: why did Ty disappear in the first place? What secrets is he hiding? Because no one just vanishes without reason. And if Ty is back, what else is coming with him? Everyone thought they knew Ty Borden, the loyal husband, the devoted father, the ranch's quiet protector. His sudden death in season 14 broke the hearts of millions, not just because of who he was, but because of what he represented. He was the emotional anchor of Heartland, the silent strength that held Amy together. Losing him felt like losing the show's soul. But now, in season 19, Ty is back, and with him comes a storm of questions that no one is ready for. As the news of his return spreads through Hudson, everyone is shocked. At first, the reactions are pure disbelief. People gather around the Heartland Ranch, curious, confused, and full of speculation. Is it really him? How can he be alive? Did the doctors make a mistake? Was this some cruel trick? But when Amy confirms the truth, the town is thrown into emotional chaos. Old memories are stirred, old wounds are reopened. And Ty must now face the consequences of disappearing from the world he once called home. But why did Ty vanish? This is the question that burns at the center of season 19. Amy wants answers. So does Jack. So does Lou. And Ty knows he can't return to Heartland and pretend like nothing happened. He carries the truth like a weight on his shoulders, one that has crushed him for years. It all began with a moment that changed everything. After being shot, Ty survived the surgery. But what the doctors didn't reveal was the damage done. Something deeper, something hidden. Ty had suffered not only physical trauma, but neurological complications that affected his memory, judgment, and emotional balance. At first, he tried to heal. He stayed in the hospital, surrounded by family. But soon, the pressure became too much. The weight of being the perfect husband and father began to crush him. And in a moment of deep confusion and emotional darkness, Ty made a decision that would change the course of his life. He walked away. But it wasn't as simple as running. There was more. A government agency had been following Ty's case. They believed he had witnessed something during that tragic incident, something connected to a larger investigation. They approached him secretly, offering protection in exchange for silence. At first, Ty refused, but when threats started reaching close to home, when Lindy's safety became a concern, he made a painful decision. He agreed to disappear. Ty was placed into witness protection under a new identity. He was sent across the country, unable to contact anyone. The emotional cost was devastating. Every day he thought about Amy and Lindy. Every day he wondered if he had made the right choice. But he stayed hidden, trusting that he was protecting the ones he loved most. He kept journals. He wrote letters he never sent. And over time, his sense of self began to fade. He became a ghost of who he once was, a man trapped between two lives. Back at Heartland, Amy was grieving. She held on to the belief that Ty was watching over her. But as time passed, she began to accept the truth. She tried to move forward. For Lindy, for herself, the ranch became her therapy. Horses became her way of processing pain, and slowly she began to find pieces of happiness again. It wasn't the same, but it was something. And then, everything changed. A fire broke out near the facility where Ty had been relocated. In the chaos, he saved a child's life, an act that drew public attention. His photo was captured by a local news outlet and shared online. It didn't take long before someone in Hudson recognized him. Within days, the Heartland community was buzzing. Jack received an anonymous message. Lou saw the photo and froze. Amy stared at the screen for hours, her hands shaking. It couldn't be. And yet, it was. Ty had a choice: stay hidden or return. He chose to come home. Now, as he walks back onto Heartland soil, the past collides with the present. His reunion with Amy is raw and emotional. She doesn't know whether to hug him or scream. There's love in her eyes, but also fury. Years of silence don't just disappear. She demands the truth, and Ty tells her everything. At first, she doesn't believe him. Witness protection, secret agencies. It sounds like something out of a movie. But as Ty shows her the letters, the journal entries, the scars, emotional and physical, she starts to see the pain he endured. It doesn't excuse what happened, but it opens the door to understanding. Jack, who had always seen Ty as a son, is torn. Part of him wants to forgive, but another part can't ignore the heartbreak. He remembers how Amy cried every night, how Lindy asked about her dad with innocent eyes. He wants to be strong, but the betrayal cuts deep. It will take time and trust to rebuild that bond. Lou, practical and protective, is furious. She doesn't trust easily, and Ty's return brings back too much pain. She's also worried about Amy, afraid her sister will fall into a dream that can't survive reality. Lou wants to know what Ty plans to do now. Is he staying for good? Can he really reclaim his old life? And then there's Nathan. Nathan had quietly become part of Amy's world. He was kind, gentle, and patient. He never tried to replace Ty, but he offered comfort when Amy needed it most. Now, with Ty back, Nathan feels invisible. He steps back, but not without emotion. He confronts Ty, not with anger, but with questions. What does he want? Is he here to stay? Does he still love Amy? Or is he just lost? Ty doesn't have all the answers. He's a man returning from a shadow. But one thing is clear. He still loves Amy, and he wants to be a father to Lindy. That's when the hardest moment comes. Ty meeting Lindy. The scene is quiet, tender, and heart-wrenching. Lindy stares at the man she's seen only in photos. Ty kneels down, unsure of what to say. His voice shakes as he whispers her name. She doesn't run into his arms. She just looks at him. A long, silent moment passes. Then, she asks a single question. Why did you leave? The question breaks Ty. He tells her the truth in words she can understand. He tells her he never stopped loving her, that he missed her every day, that sometimes grown-ups make hard choices, even when it hurts. He tells her he's here now, and he's not going anywhere. Lindy doesn't hug him, not yet, but she sits beside him, and that's enough. It's a start. Heartland has always been about healing, about the bond between people, animals, and the land. But now, it's about something more: redemption. Ty's return isn't just a miracle, it's a challenge. He must earn back the love he lost. He must rebuild what was broken. And as the season unfolds, secrets continue to unravel. Because Ty isn't the only one hiding something. The agency that protected him is still watching. There are consequences to returning home. And danger may not be as far away as everyone believes. The peaceful world of Heartland is about to face its biggest test. Not just emotional, but real physical threats that could change everything. Amy, Jack, Lou, and the entire family must come together like never before. Because Ty's story is not just about the past. It's about what comes next. Ty Borden's return has changed everything. Heartland, once quiet and steady, is now buzzing with emotion, fear, and uncertainty. His presence stirs the soil beneath the ranch, and with each passing day, the people closest to him must face the truth. Ty didn't just return, he brought the past with him. For Amy, the struggle is personal. Her heart is torn between love and pain. Part of her wants to believe they can go back to the way things were. But another part, wiser, more guarded, knows that time changes people. She's not the same woman she was when Ty left. She's stronger, more independent, but also more cautious. She's built a life without him, and now she must figure out where he fits into it. Their moments together are tender but tense. Ty often sits with Amy in silence, sharing stories from the years he was gone. He talks about the loneliness, the fear, and the guilt that haunted him. Amy listens, sometimes with tears in her eyes, other times with a blank stare. She wants to forgive him, but the wound runs deep. And when she looks into his eyes, she sees the man she once loved, and someone she no longer fully knows. Still, there are sparks. When they work together at the ranch, there's a rhythm, a connection that hasn't faded. Old habits return, soft smiles, shared glances, unfinished sentences only they can understand. It's not just muscle memory, it's love, buried under layers of time and pain. And slowly, Amy begins to wonder, can love survive death, even if the death was a lie? Lindy, too, is adjusting. She's curious, cautious, and full of questions. At night, she asks Amy, "Is Daddy staying?" Amy doesn't always know how to answer. Ty tries to be patient, building trust with his daughter one moment at a time. He reads her bedtime stories, helps her with her horse, and tells her about the stars. Slowly, she starts calling him Dad. Not always, but enough to fill his heart with quiet joy. But the past won't rest. Ty receives a mysterious envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside is a photo of him from his hidden years, taken without his knowledge, and a message. "We know where you are." It's a chilling reminder that his return may have put his family in danger. He shows the photo to Jack, who insists on keeping it quiet to avoid scaring Amy. But Ty knows time is running out. The people he escaped from haven't forgotten. At the same time, Lou starts digging. She contacts her old political friends, trying to find out who was involved in Ty's disappearance and what risks remain. What she uncovers is disturbing. The agency that protected Ty was part of a classified operation, one that was shut down after a leak. Ty's records were supposed to be sealed forever. But someone has broken the silence, and it may not be just for revenge. It could be for leverage. Meanwhile, Nathan wrestles with his own emotions. He sees Amy struggling and wants to step back, but he can't ignore the feelings he still has. In a heartfelt conversation, he tells Amy that he'll respect whatever choice she makes, but he won't pretend that his feelings have disappeared. It's a moment of raw honesty that forces Amy to confront the future she wants, and the past she can't forget. At the heart of it all is Jack. He watches the family change around him, quietly holding them together as best he can. He speaks to Ty late one night by the barn. "You came back, son," he says. But coming back doesn't mean it's over. It means it's just beginning. Ty nods, understanding that his return isn't a happy ending. It's the start of a new chapter, a hard one. As the season builds toward its climax, danger comes closer to Heartland. Strange cars are seen on the outskirts of the ranch. Anonymous calls are made to Lou's office. A break-in occurs at the vet clinic, with files missing. Files from Ty's old cases. The family begins to suspect that someone is watching them, waiting for the right time to strike. They tighten security. Tim installs cameras. Caleb helps reinforce the stables. But the fear remains. Then, it happens. One evening, while Amy and Ty are walking with Lindy near the river, a figure appears from the woods, dressed in black, face hidden. Ty shields Amy and Lindy, ready to fight, but the figure doesn't attack. Instead, he drops a message at Ty's feet and disappears into the trees. The message reads, "We need you again," or "Your family pays." Ty is torn. He left that life behind. But now, it's come back to claim him. He confides in Amy, and for the first time, she sees the full weight of the burden he's been carrying. She realizes this isn't just about their love, it's about survival. Together, they make a decision. They won't run. Not again. With Jack's support, Lou's connections, and the strength of the Heartland family, They begin preparing for the truth to come out. Amy speaks to a reporter. She tells the story of Ty's disappearance, not the classified parts, but the human parts. She talks about grief, forgiveness, and love. The story goes viral. The world sees the face of Ty Borden again, not as a victim, but as a survivor. And then, in a twist no one sees coming, the person behind the threats is revealed. It's not a stranger. It's someone from Ty's past. A former colleague, someone he trusted, now working in the shadows. The betrayal cuts deep, but it also frees Ty. With the truth exposed, the danger begins to fade. The agency confirms that Ty's file has been permanently closed. He's no longer a target. He's free to live his life. Free to stay. And so, Heartland breathes again. Ty starts rebuilding his veterinary practice. Amy takes on a new therapy program for trauma survivors inspired by their journey. Lindy begins writing a book called The Day Daddy Came Home. And the family, after years of loss and fear, finds peace. But not everything is perfect. There are still wounds. There are still scars. Amy and Ty don't rush back into their old love. They walk slowly, hand in hand, day by day, choosing each other again. Not out of habit, but out of hope. As the season ends, the family gathers for a quiet evening under the stars. No drama, no chaos, just laughter, warmth, and love. Ty looks around and whispers, "I'm home." And this time, he means it. Because Heartland is more than a place. It's a promise that no matter how far you go or how long you're gone, family will always be there to catch you when you return. Would you like help turning this full script into a polished voiceover or ready-to-publish video format?